Good evening, fellow Reds. Welcome to your Monday night edition. We're going to keep on going while Paul sorts out his technical difficulties. Don't worry, Paul, about it. We'll keep it going. Welcome to your Monday night stream. As usual, I'm your host, Charlie. I'm joined today by our illustrious guests. Clem, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing great, Charlie. Great to be with you, and I look forward to chatting Reds.
Yeah. It's a good weekend, wasn't it? So, yeah, kind of you start off your week very well when there's a good result for us.
Definitely. And I look at, as we just mentioned, looking forward to hopefully Sheffield getting a result.
I think, you may have a bit more belief than me, but let's see. I'm pretty sure Paul has got the game on in the background as usual, so he'll be keeping us up to
Yeah,
date. Good man, good man. And how are you,
yeah.
Paul? Okay?
I'm a football nerd, man. I can't help myself.
Yeah, that's good.
Even when I know
Well,
that there's no chance that Sheffield gonna get a point from Arsenal, but I just
yeah,
still have to
yeah, but at
biggest
least
life.
you
There's
aligned
hope.
yourself. Yeah, I was going to say, but you may be a football nerd, but at least you aligned yourself to Liverpool. Yeah, so that's good.
Yeah,
Good, good,
yeah.
good.
But I had a good weekend. I can't remember the last time I have a bad weekend when the Reds win. So
Yeah, good.
yeah, it was a good weekend.
Lovely, lovely. That's lovely to hear. And the weather's all right. It's not too cold for you.
Well, I cleaned my driveway this morning, and it was -34 with the wind. So Celsius.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
take
yeah.
that what you will. Yeah,
Whatever that is in Celsius, I'm pretty sure that's still cold. I'm sure it's still
it's
cold.
cold. Yeah.
Lovely. And Tom, how are you, my friend?
Yeah, very good. Still buzzing after that weekend. Must have watched that goal at least 200 times already. I still haven't
Yeah.
tired, so yeah, all good.
And all the tears, the fume. It just adds to the joyous occasion, isn't it? We'll cover it off. We are going to start off with a little bit of a light-hearted discussion review of the game over the weekend. But I just want to say thank you to everyone joining in the comments as usual. Jen, always lovely to see you. Thank you for joining. Hit those likes, hit those subscribes, and we'll see how things go. So we'll start off with the game. Bit of an interesting one, wasn't it? So, Clem, I'll come to you because you. This is the first time that we're speaking. Let's come to you. Let's get your thoughts on how the game went. Were you surprised with how well Nottingham Forest kind of played, or is it not so much of a surprise because of the makeshift side that we essentially had with the game?
Yeah, not surprised they created some chances early. We weathered the storm. Obviously, it was the makeshift side, and I think we grew into the game. I was always feeling confident in the second half, making adjustments, but heading into the game, we didn't know whether Salah, Nunez, whether Szoboszlai was going to get much run. So that was playing on my mind, in terms of who was going to get that chance. I really did hope we'd get off to a great start. I think Gakpo had a chance or two. Diaz was pressing as always, but we just really didn't look like we were going to create much in that first half. And after that, I just kind of felt this might be one of those days where it's just a 1-0. You get out alive, and you live to fight another day. As it started
Yeah,
to get towards the 70, 80, I thought, okay, we're going to need some substitution magic. And when Nunez came on, Endo came on, I thought we started to look a lot more lively. And I always kept that faith that something was going to happen. Even in the 96th minute,
very very late.
yeah, um, I was starting to have doubts, but I still felt like we're going to get one more chance, whether it's a goal or not. I always felt in that final minute or two, we'd get it forward. Yeah, we'll see what happens. But never in my wildest dreams did I think it was going to happen like that. Um, we turned the ball over basically. Well, Gomez got the corner, and then McAllister's calmness to play that ball in is not a lot of players would have seen that pass there as well. They would have maybe blazed away. So watching it again, guys, on replay, I just have more admiration in terms of the guys that produced. So many players had a hand in that goal, from Gomez, fighting for the corner, to Endo, who got a toe poke on the ball to keep it in possession, back to McAllister, and then the glancing header from Nunez. It was euphoria, you know.
Yeah. It was really good, really, really good. And that point of McAllister, you just saw it. If you look back at the replays and how he looked up, he picked up obviously the ball. Endo's just brilliant, and the way his vision, absolutely agree, 100% with the way that he saw putting it into a space where it could just cause damage. Whether it's going to be Nunez or someone behind him coming around the back, you know, that's going to be really, really interesting to see. And it was just beautifully played. Tom, I'm going to come to you really quickly. Is this the equivalent of the and I said it in the comments in our chat, but I felt this was like our more recent version of the Aston Villa game away, where Sadio Mane scored that late goal against them. You know, maybe not a game that we probably should have won, but we got a result, and it just took us to that next step a little bit closer. You know, we're getting close to single figure games now in the league. And so was that the feeling that you got?
Yeah, it was massive. The feeling you get with them late winners is unrivaled, really. The confidence it gives you, the momentum it gives you. Obviously, going into the game, you just want a comfortable win, no stress, just nice, easy win. But we know with Liverpool, that's not often the case. And yeah, I do agree. It could be massive for us. It gives you, like I said, it gives you so much confidence when you think you're down and you go on and win. It just gives the place such a lift. So yeah, it could be huge. I hope it is. We've had a lot of them this season, and we like late winners. So you just hope the stars are aligning, and it's kind of written that it's going to be our year. But we'll wait and see. It's obviously a massive game of the weekend. I think if we win that, then it's ours to lose, really.
Yeah, I agree. And let's be honest, we didn't hold any hope with Manchester United getting a result against City. Let's be honest, even though they scored an early goal and left it late. City getting their goals, but we can't really rely on anyone else. It is still in our hands. So who knows what could happen the next couple of weeks. Massive for all three teams, I'd say, at the top. You know, Man City lose, then they drop off. If Arsenal lose, drop points, then they fall off as well. We still have it in our hands. You know, just like what you said, if the stars align, who knows where we could be in 2 weeks' time. It's so tight. One thing I'm just going to come to you, Paul. It's a record. It's another record that Klopp's broken, and the record is we haven't beaten Nottingham Forest at their ground since 1980s. 1985, I think it was the last time that we beat Nottingham Forest in the league away. And I think that's. It may show, obviously, that Forest haven't been in the top leagues for a number of years, but that is still a record that Klopp has beaten, and he's taken it. You know, how impressive was the victory really in the end?
Well, as it relates to the record, some of those records are a little bit, I would say, overstated, because we haven't beaten them for 40 odd years, primarily, because they have been not in the league for that. At the time, so
but they gave us trouble. They've given us trouble.
It is what it is. Now,
they've beaten us.
As it relates to the game, though, is one of the things that kind of concerns me about our team this year is we seem to have no trouble putting away mid-table teams, whether at their place or at Anfield. Teams like Villa, Brentford, Chelsea at home, Wolves. Those kind of teams, we seem to can put them away comfortably. But for some reason, these lower teams, when they institute their low block, we seem to struggle against putting away these low block teams. And if we're going to win the Premier League, and this is not new, this has been the case forever. To win the Premier League, you have to win the games that you're supposed to win. You have to win the games against the teams that are at the bottom of the table if you want to win the league. And yes, 3 points is 3 points, but I don't think that a team that has aspiration to win in the league should be struggling to break down a team that is struggling for survival in the Premier League. So this is something that we have to address. I'm not sure if it's our style of play. If you look at a team like Burnley, for example, when they try to play against us, they give us the space to operate and then we can score. But for whatever reason, I'm not sure if it's the makeup of our team. Is it that our midfield is McAllister is very creative, but if the other guys not creative enough to break down this team when they come with a bank of 4, it's something that we need to look at because it is a problem. And if we lose the league by a point or 2 because we draw one of these games when we're supposed to win, it's going to be tough. Fair enough if we lose the league because we lose to Man City or we lose to Arsenal like we did a couple of weeks ago at their place. You can take that. We're going to Everton later on in the season. That's going to be another low block affair. Are we going to drop points at in these games? So I'm not sure what is the solution, but it is an issue. The manager is very good at making substitution at halftime or late in the game, to give us that edge. But I'm still quite concerned about our inability to break down these low block teams. I mean, look at we see Villa. They were 4th in the league. They came to Anfield and what we did, like 3-0, 3 going 4-5. So why is it that we can't break down these low block teams? So that is my concern, and I've been thinking about it the last couple of days. And I watched a couple of these games again because I'm a football nerd. And we just sometimes, especially in the first half or 45 minutes, seem to lack ideas. We pass it from side to side and then we have Lucha down the left or whatever it is. But we just seem to lack that cutting edge because we think about these teams, the first goal is so important. And if you can get a goal or 2, within the first 20, 25 minutes against these low block teams, then you force them to come out and then the game become easier. But the longer we can have them in the game, it makes them more determined. And, yes, we don't panic, but it is a concern that we have to work on.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm the only one that sees this way, but, I would love to see, to hear what the other guys think about that. But it is an issue for me.
Yeah. Well, let's kind of get thoughts on Clem and Tom, but also in the comments, let's put down, do you feel the same? Do you think we struggle against those lower end teams? Is it because of the physicality that they bring? The low block, do we struggle? Do we not have the creativity? Tom, do you have any thoughts on that?
I'm not really that concerned about it, to be fair. If you look at our last 3 league games, we've played Burnley, Brentford and Luton, and we've scored 4-4, 3 goals, haven't we? And they're all kind of defensive-minded teams. So I think last few games we've been fine, really. And obviously we've had so many injuries, a lot of games in a short space of time. So I think to be off it a little bit at the weekend was understandable. I was kind of expecting a narrow win at best, to be honest, in that game, with the amount of, like I said, the schedule that we've had. So yeah, for me, I'm not really. I know we've had some games this year where we've struggled to break down low blocks, but I think everyone does really. And yeah, as I said, we've scored plenty of goals in the previous few games. We had a very tight schedule, so yeah, I was sort of expecting a cagey affair on Saturday, to be honest. So yeah, I mean, for the moment, not too concerned, especially because we got Salah hopefully coming back soon. Szoboszlai getting up to fitness, so yeah, I'm not too concerned about it.
Yeah. And Clem, do you have any thoughts on why we may struggle against those lower block teams, those lower end teams anyway?
Yeah, certainly. I think I hear what Paul's saying, and I think I felt that way throughout parts of the season. The form was a little patchy when we struggled to beat Luton away. We just overran Fulham, in a thrilling 4-3. I think I look at a few areas. I look at we needed to play a little bit more wide. We did miss Andy Robertson, and then Trent on the wings, and obviously Joe Gomez had to fill in for a large part of the season. And I also felt we needed to improve at set pieces. We need to be a bit more of a threat to score some goals that way. Obviously against the low block, you got to get creative. And then just the first year of the new midfield, it's always been a new midfield this season, but it's been in and out. It's been players missing. Szoboszlai started the season super hot, then he was out, and then his form dipped a little bit. McAllister was in the 6, now he's in the 8. So I don't really feel like we've had a settled midfield for a stretch of 5 to 10 games, this season as well. But we've been grinding out results, and they were talking about Man United, who used to get praise for grinding out results, and I'm seeing a lot of skeptics who aren't Liverpool fans, saying that we've been lucky, but I think it's different.
Yeah, no, I agree. And so we're going to come to our main man, Darwin Nunez, just showing again his impact to the team. Now, I will hold my hands up. I'm one that kind of doubted Nunez simply because of the lack of composure that he had at the start of the season. And boy, is he kind of proving a lot of the doubters wrong. He's now becoming such an all-round player. He brings so much, and we have missed him while he's been away. Tom, how important is it that Darwin is playing, from the start against Man City on the weekend?
Yeah, it's vital. It's been absolutely brilliant this season. He's been, a different player to last year. When it was fair to say a lot of people doubted him. I think they were right to do so. But yeah, I think it's fair to say he's one of our most important players. Like he's just such a threat. He just impacts games, and you'd hate to play against him. And that's the biggest compliment you can pay him. Like, even like a Gakpo who might be technically better than him, like you'd rather play against Gakpo. Like defenders, I'm sure they'd hate to play against Darwin just because the pace, the physicality, like you just got it all really for a striker. So yeah, I've been made up with him this season. I think he's been arguably one of our better players. And yeah, it's vital that he's playing on Sunday because, like I said, he's just always a threat in behind. Yeah, and I think City will be scared of him, like all defenders are, even though he can be, rough around the edges at times. Like I said, he's just such a threat. So whenever we've got him, it's always an advantage just because of the havoc he causes and that causes. And now he's obviously getting his output to go with that.
No, I totally agree. Paul, I'm going to ask you a question. Do you think the Captain Chaos label that Nunez has is kind of dissipating in the sense of we're getting a far more composed Darwin Nunez now? He seems more settled. He's more into the team. He knows his role. Do you think that Captain Chaos is actually just is rubbing off, and now it's more the player that we want and saw when we bought him?
I was never a fan of that Captain Chaos name, because it suggests a player that's just running around like a headless chicken. And Darwin, he's not that. Yes, he's not as polished as you would like him, but this is the Premier League, the hardest league in the world. And most players, young players coming to the Premier League for the first time, takes time. Erling Haaland is regarded by many as the best striker in world football right now. And whilst I'm not going to say Darwin is better, but I think Darwin offers more to Liverpool than what Haaland offers to Man City. Darwin is a better passer, better bringing in other players in the game compared to Haaland. Haaland might be a better finisher, but out of possession, Darwin is a beast. He works hard. He runs. He keeps defenders on their toes, and it's probably not incorrect to say that Pep is worried about Darwin just as much as Klopp is worried about Haaland. So he's a very, very important player for us. He has to start if he's not, unless he is injured. And I think we started to see the best of Darwin right now. Yes, he has missed some chances, but I still believe that Darwin is one of the most unlucky players that I've seen for quite a while. Look at the game the other day when he missed, when he hit the post, between the post and the bar, like 4 times. I don't think he'll have another game in his life where he hit the post and the bar 4 times without scoring, right? Yeah. There are so many times when he does the right thing, make the right pass and make the right attempt at goal. And for whatever reason, either the goalkeeper pull off a blinder or the ball just one couple inches away. So he has gotten a lot of stick, and I think most of it is not deserved. But he's an extremely important player for us, and there's no doubt that the team is way, way better, way more potent when he's involved. And yes, goals is important, but goals involvement is just as critical.
Yeah.
Because if you have an assist, it means that the team score a goal. So I think he's going to be a very, very important player for us for the next couple of years.
Yeah, no, I agree. And Clem, I'm gonna change tact here, but was there a little bit of chaos, or was it just kind of storming and teacup with the drop ball fiasco? You know, if no one knows, and I'm sure everybody does who follows Liverpool, for whatever reason, Nottingham Forest and their fans have gone absolutely mental in the sense of they think that we've cheated our way to 3 points when Paul Tierney gave us the drop ball in the extra injury time on the weekend. They think that led to the goal. Really, they had a minute and a half defending. It wasn't kind of straight away going up the pitch and scoring from that moment when Keller had the ball. Do you think it's just storm and teacup, isn't it? Surely.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, when you concede a 98th minute winner to Liverpool, at home, you got to kick up a fuss. You got to make some excuse. The manager's under pressure. They're fighting for survival. And of all things, to think that Paul Tierney is giving Liverpool favours like that, how out of touch can you be?
Yeah.
Also, we saw the graphics, and people haven't acknowledged that Kanate copped studs, to the head, and nothing was given with that one as well. You're supposed to protect the player. He come in with a karate kick, as well. So also the goal didn't happen, as a result of the drop ball. There was at least two exchanges up and down the pitch as well. So I feel like that's not being spoken of enough as well. And look, I really feel like Liverpool is just becoming, if they weren't already, to rival fans. We're becoming the hunted. We're top of the table. If you're not a Liverpool fan, you want to see us fall. No matter what. And the fact is, people were getting their hopes up. 96th minute, they're probably thinking, Liverpool's done here, and then we pull out the winner.
Yeah, and what Forest had a couple of players booked for time wasting, so the time would have been added on. Paul Tierney did the right thing in that respect. I think it's just ridiculous. Tom, I'm pretty sure you think the same. We'll keep this little segment short so we can move on to more important things. But Tom, do you think the season's won on whether a referee gave us a throw-in or a drop ball or something ridiculous like that?
Yeah, I think it's been quite overblown, to say the least, really. And the same thing happened to us in the first half, and they got a drop ball, but just because we scored from it, everyone seems to have forgotten that. So yeah, it's just, as usual, just people saying things to suit their agenda.
Exactly. Yeah.
And like you said, it was 2 minutes after the drop ball happened that we scored. It wasn't like it happened straight after. So yeah, it's just as always. It's if Liverpool get a decision in our favour, it's headline news everywhere, and it's always the way. But like I said, the same thing happened in the first half, but I haven't heard anything about that. So yeah, I think they could just hold that.
Yeah. So we'll move on. We'll move to yourself, Paul. We're going to come to the kind of first main topic, and it is our go-to topic. It's the most kind of exciting topic at the moment. It's going to be running for a long time, and it's the manager situation. So there's talk that's come out about Xabi Alonso that essentially Bayern Munich is still really interested. He is their number one priority, but the club believes that the deal would be really extremely complicated. Bayern are now considering a new surprising alternative, Feyenoord head coach Arne Slot. Any ideas? Any thoughts? Are you too worried?
I just have this feeling that Xabi Alonso has agreed a deal with Liverpool to be our next manager. Of course, it's just a hunch, but I think the tea leaves is pointed in that direction. If we get him, I don't care who goes to Bayern. To be fair, um, but the fact that the vibes coming out of Bayern is that it might be complicated to get Xabi. That suggests to me that they feel that they won't get him, right?
Mm.
And I don't think Xabi is going to stay at Leverkusen for another year. I'm pretty sure when he signed that contract, he didn't expect to be in such demand so quickly, right? But in sports, you have to strike while the iron is hot.
Yeah.
If I'm sure he would, as a coach, want to coach one of the three teams, Liverpool, Bayern, and Madrid, because these are the three teams that he has played for. But you don't turn down an opportunity like this because you want to wait another year or two, because it is not very likely that Liverpool will be there waiting for you in another year or two. So you may never get another chance. And who to tell you decide to stay another year at Leverkusen and then next year it goes south, So you can't take that chance. So if he had any ambition of coaching one of these three teams, then he has to move this year. And I mean, yes, I'm a little bit biased, but if you compare the situation between Bayern and Liverpool, then there are a number of reasons why you would want to choose Liverpool. First of all, everybody agreed that the Premier League is the best league in the world. So whether you're a player or a manager, if there's an opportunity in the Premier League, plus it's a top team in the Premier League, it will be kind of foolish for you to turn on that opportunity because you may never get it again. And secondly, if you look at this squad, the two squads, Bayern squad versus our squad, the difference is clear. We have so much, not only talent, but young talent, right? So, and then if you look at the passion of the fans, if you compare Anfield to Bayern Stadium, what is it, Allianz Arena, whatever it's called, right? Yeah. It's not even close. So I don't expect any announcement until probably close to the end of the season. When I've listened to all the interviews that Xabi has given since Klopp announced that he's leaving, he, I think, has been very coy, which is what you expect. He's saying the right things. He's not basically saying he's coming or he's leaving or he's staying. He's just saying he's concentrating on the season that he has in front of him right now. So that sounds to me like he's a very level-headed guy. And we hope we get him. Because some of the names been branded about, I just don't want him in my football team. The Brighton manager, I don't think, I really don't want the Xabi in my football team. The guy from Sporting, Amorim, or whatever his name is, he's too young. He hasn't done anything yet. I'm not sure what he has done to be linked with the Liverpool job. I think he's about 38 or 39. He won the league about 3-4 years ago with Sporting. That's about it. So, I hope that Xavi come. I have a couple of names in my head, but the names that have been branded for second and third choice, I really hope we don't get them.
Yeah, that's an interesting one because Amorim is young, but I think he's just a little bit younger than Xabi Alonso. He's 39. Xabi's very, very infant in terms of his managerial career. This is his first main job. He's doing absolutely wonders already. But there's been talk. Well, I'll put it to Tom and Clem as well. First of all, I don't think Xabi would want to talk to Bayern Munich while he's trying to win a league in that same league. I'd say that Bayern Munich are probably kind of trying to ruffle some feathers, perhaps. Clem, I'll get your ideas or your thoughts about that, and then let's ask you that. Do you think Bayern are actually trying to unsettle Xabi Alonso, even though they're 10 points behind Leverkusen now? Is a bit of mental gymnastics that they're trying to pull. Yeah,
and that too, and also the reporting. There's been a lot of reports out there that are biased towards Bayern, and wanting to push or promote that chance of happening. But to Paul's point, I think Xabi, I don't see him staying in the Bundesliga another year. You win the title in your first season, it's downhill from there. It's a risk. This dream move, and I do think it is a dream move for Xabi. He's talked about the never winning the league with Liverpool and unfinished business. Also, the quotes resonate with me. His kids were born on Merseyside, and then also the squad. Like, how could you not look at this situation and I could be Klopp's successor, and that could be a stepping stone to then, bigger things later as well. And I don't see any other club on the same level to appeal to Xabi right now, because he's familiar with the club. If he was to go to La Liga or somewhere like that, he knows how ruthless that could be, and his stock could fall rapidly as well. Also, I think Klopp, knowing his decision and announcing it in November, I do think, he's probably spoken, and to Xabi as well. And I think Liverpool do things quietly. They do things behind the scenes, and they do things efficiently. And I think one of the reasons we haven't heard a lot of news is because it's probably a hush hush, wink wink sort of, we'll respect your situation right now. Go win the league, and then come on board. But also, to Paul's point, I feel the same in terms of the second choice is a steep drop off. Like, it doesn't really excite me. Whoever the second option is, whoever the name is, it's a case of they just don't bring that same aura.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's going to be a really, really interesting one. Let's see. I mean, Tom, do you think it's more important right now that we arrange and sort out a sporting director? There's talk of Michael Edwards coming back. Billy Hogan has now taken on a different position within FSG, looking at more of the sporting commercial kind of aspect, leaving space for someone to come in and have a look at complete football operation. Do you think Michael Edwards may be brought back into that role, who would then look at bringing in his own sporting director and also the manager as well? Do you think that's the wheels that are going to be turning over the next few weeks?
Yeah, I mean, obviously Michael Edwards would be ideal. We know what he can do in terms of his negotiating power. He's unbelievable, really. But obviously he's rejected our initial approach, hasn't he? So, I mean, I can't really see him change his mind if we go back in again. As much as I'd love to be wrong. But in terms of the manager aspect, I do kind of agree. I think it's probably kind of already being worked on it, or if not already done, to be fair. I think obviously as soon as Klopp announced he was going in November, the work will have started. So 4 months on, I think we'll have at least a very good idea of who the next manager is going to be. And yeah, I completely agree. Anyone below Xabi Alonso is a massive, massive downgrade. It wouldn't really excite me and would worry me, to be honest. Obviously, Amorim's done well at Sporting, but it's the Portuguese league, and you can't really take too much from that. Whereas Alonso, the Bundesliga is not amazing or anything, but he's taken on an absolute giant in Bayern Munich, and he's not lost a game all season. He's playing scintillating football, and obviously the fact that he's a Liverpool legend, he knows the club as well, is equally as important to this club as how you do on the pitch. So yeah, he ticks every box, and yeah, I'm just praying that he's the man that comes in.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm just going to come to John's question here. So anything in the Sky reports that Alonso has now, Bayern Munich has started negotiations with Alonso tonight. I don't personally believe anything that comes out of German to German club negotiations right now, because of the importance of Leverkusen having never won the league ever in their history. They're going to be going for the title. They want to be, ensuring that doesn't get disrupted at all. Paul, do you think there's anything in this latest report, unless you're telling me with your eyes that Sheffield United have just scored a goal against Arsenal?
Unfortunately, it's the other way around. Arsenal won up.
Oh no!
And they also hit the bar too. It's one-way traffic, but
it's only 5 minutes in.
Yeah, it's going to be another road probably. But Yeah. Um, I don't know. It's kind of hard to judge or to take what is coming out of Germany into the news, as gospel, because we hear what they want us to hear. We're not there. We don't speak German, um, and I think the German media would prefer Bayern to remain on top. And if Bayern is competing with a team like Liverpool in the Premier League for anything, beat a manager, beat a player, whatever, obviously, they're going to be biased towards their team, which is correct. No issues with that. You know, so it is definitely up to the person, up to Xabi. I don't think he's going to be swayed because of money, because of pressure, because of anything other than just his desire to coach the team that he wants to coach.
Yeah.
And there is a reason why everybody's after him. Leverkusen, or some people call them Neverkusen, they were like sixth in the Bundesliga last year. So that tells me that they don't have any star players in that team. And for they to be unbeaten in Europe in like almost 40 games, that is almost nothing short of a minor miracle.
Yeah.
So I agree with Tom. The drop off between Xabi and whoever the number two is huge. Um, but I am not even thinking about the number two, to be honest, because I just have this in my mind that we're gonna get it. There are candidates out there, of course. I mean, if it doesn't come, our club will continue, and we will continue to win games. It won't be the end of the world. There are managers out there. Just that I don't like the names that are being floated about. If it has to be a Premier League manager, I would go to a left field name, like, you guys might think I'm crazy, but somebody like Gary O'Neill. Um, what does Amorim have over Gary O'Neill? Winning the Portuguese league 3 years ago, to me, is kind of nothing. Gary O'Neill, what he did with Bournemouth, what he's doing with Wolves right now with no players and no money, the guy showed that he can coach. Is he at Xabi's standard? Absolutely not. But I wouldn't mind giving a guy like that a punt if it comes to that, instead of guys like the Brighton manager and these kind of people. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah. Let's see. It's going to be. I think it's just one of those kind of situations where media talk takes over. Let's kind of crack on with some of the other topics that we had that have come out over the last kind of day or so. The next one, bit of a strange one. Some of that came back a few times over the course of this season, but a major Premier League club, potentially Liverpool, Man City, is ready to present an offer of 80 million euros, 68 million for Nicolo Barella, 27-year-old, plays in the middle of Inter Milan, who are doing really quite well, to be fair. Tom, Tom, I'll come to you quickly. Do you think any kind of reasoning why we would go for such a player now, considering we have Szoboszlai, we have McAllister, we have Jones, we have loads of players that can play in that kind of position that he operates.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't seem like a priority position. But that doesn't mean I wouldn't love him. I think he's outstanding, to be fair. I think he's got everything in terms of like a box-to-box midfielder. I think he's absolutely outstanding. But like I said, I can't see it happening. One, because it's not a priority. Two, because the transfer fee involved. And three, because Italians don't really seem to leave Italy that much, do they? So I imagine I'd be happy there, to be honest, the way they're playing as well. They're playing some brilliant football this season. So yeah, as much as I would love him, I think he's a world-class midfielder. And, he probably start for pretty much any team in the world. I can't really see that happening.
Yeah, no, nor me. And Inter Milan are first in Serie A, aren't they, Clem? So why would he go away from his hometown club to join another country's team? So Man City or Liverpool, but that next bracket down, if it's someone that's Arsenal perhaps, or even lower, Newcastle, because they would like to spend money. Why would you want to leave? Is this just paper talk again?
Yeah, I always look at what you just said. You look at with these rumors. Why is the reason that they surface? What is stood to be gained by this? Is he out of contract? Is it agents possibly driving up the price? Is it personally he would love a bigger move to a bigger league? It could be a number of factors. But to be fair, his name has been linked for quite a while. I don't know if Klopp's been a fan or the club, but Barella has seemed to be a name linked for more than 12 months, to my memory. Correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, I seem to see his name quite a bit. So it isn't something that just popped out of nowhere. But yeah, to your point, they're winning. I think he's a great player. He would fit really well. But we're kind of pretty stacked now in the midfield, and I think it would definitely upset the apple cart. Bringing in someone in that position. I mean, I'm someone who feels like Trent ultimately should be moving towards the midfield now because of also a number of factors. But yeah, Connor Bradley's emergence. You have to fit Trent in somewhere, and I think ultimately his next footballing goal is to be a box to box kind of player for Liverpool. He grew up idolizing Stevie G, and I think that's where his talents will be best utilized.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think everything you just said there, absolutely spot on. Paul, I'm going to come to you about it. If, let's say, we did spend the money and he came in, where does that leave him? We've got other players. Who do you start kind of excluding? I know we need big squads to be involved in all competitions, and with the Champions League actually increasing, it's getting bigger with the announcement today, which is essentially a glorified, a version of the Super League that was presented a few years ago. But is it really important? Should we actually consider having players like that and just have a stacked midfield?
Barrel is a top midfielder. There's no question about it, But for the price, and bearing in mind that the area of the pitch in which we have the most depth is the midfield, I don't see it happening. I mean, plus, if you get a player like that for that kind of money, then obviously he will have to start. So we'd have to find a spot in the midfield tree for him. Not that that will be too difficult because he's really a top player. But I think there's a probably less than 5% chance that we see this kind of transfer. He has been linked with us for quite a while. You're right, Clem. And if my memory serves me right, during the last off season, there were talk that he didn't want to leave Italy. He didn't want to come to the Premier League. So when a player doesn't want to join, it's two nothing. When a player doesn't want to join your team, and then all of a sudden he's been linked again, is it that you're forcing him to join, or is it that there's other reasons? So I don't think so. We have more important position in the team that needs to be addressed with that kind of money. We need another central defender. We need another right winger. Stuff like that. So I don't see Barella happening at all. So I wouldn't even pay much attention to this story. I think it's just a one-day story that will just go away. But is he a good player? Absolutely. But same thing with Joshua Kimmich, or whatever his name is, that I've seen too.
Yeah. So Paul, you've absolutely hit the nail on the head there. So I was just about to come on to Joshua Kimmich because there's been a report about him. So we're probably not going to spend 70 million on this 27-year-old, considering his age and whatnot. Are we going to spend money? I'll stick with you, Paul. Are we going to spend that type of money on a 29-year-old?
No chance. No chance. Kimmich has had a reputation of being a top number 6 for quite a while, but I think the last year or two, his performance, his reputation has gone ahead of his performance, right? I don't think this year he has been really that good, whether for his national team or for his club. So to pay that kind of money for a number 6, that if we are reluctant to pay that same kind of money for Paulina at Fulham because he's 29, right? And Paulina have Premier League experience, then I don't see why we would go for Kimmich. So, and honestly, I would love Paulina in at Liverpool for the right price. I don't want Kimmich.
Yeah.
I don't see how he would improve right now at this, how he has been playing for the last 6 months to a year. He's not an improvement on Endo or is Maka at the 6. Yes, Maka would move up to the 8 if he's there, but I think he's on the downside of his career. That signing would be similar to the signing that Man U did a few years ago when they went for an old Casemiro and pay a mountain of money for Casemiro, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because they are playing for a player based on what he did 4 or 5 years ago, not what he can do from this point forward. So I think it will be the same thing with Kimmich. We can't pay this kind of money to get a player in who we think might be, at the top of the hill and about to descend on the other side. So it will be crazy. So I think that Kimmich story again doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I agree. And I think, Tom, I'll come to you about this one. So do you think so because the German league is kind of very one-sided, take this season out because it seems like it may be a bit of a rarity, but prior 3-0. Okay, so prior to this season, it's always going to be Bayern Munich. The players, you could have a bad season and still win a league with Bayern Munich itself. But the fact that Bayern Munich haven't actually done anything in Europe, does that kind of indicate that really they're not the best, and therefore we shouldn't really look at their players as much? There is another Bayern Munich player that we want to talk about, but someone like Joshua Kimmich, is it just he's protected by German media, by a poor league, etc.?
Yeah, possibly. I do think he's a top player. Like I think on the ball, he's probably top 5 in the world. I think his passing range and his composure on the balls is like sensational, really. Very versatile player as well. But yeah, I agree. It's not really what we need now. Obviously, the age and the the transfer fee involved is far from ideal. So yeah, as much as he's a top class player, I do think he's fantastic. It does give me Thiago vibes a little bit, and we kind of seen how that's unfolded. So yeah, for me, top class player, but not what we need right now, and I definitely wouldn't make it a priority for the summer.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's a priority. Certainly don't think it's a priority for Liverpool. Maybe for other teams based around kind of European spots that they want to look at. He may do really well at someone like Aston Villa if Villa did get into Europe, maybe Champions League. Who knows? Depending on what happens, there's maybe a spot there for Tottenham as well. He could go there and do really well. They pay good money. So who knows? Clem, do you have any thoughts about someone of the standard of Joshua Kimmich being available? Do you think we should do that, or is again kind of agent talk, trying to drive up a good deal so he gets a better contract? It is going to be his last contract most likely. Is he just trying to get a few extra thousands on top of his or probably very, very high salary?
Yeah, definitely. I think this is some agents doing some work there as well. But yeah, with with Liverpool, I think the squad's pretty sound for the minute. That yes, there's a few holes, but I don't feel like in the midfield right now we've got Stefan Bietic, who I think will come back next season and factor in a lot more. With accounts in terms of Endo, we were obviously in on Andre, in Brazil. But once we got Endo, we didn't go back for Andre. So that kind of telling me that, okay, we feel like we're kind of good with the 6 right now. Otherwise, because, I mean, all accounts, Andre could have been had for 30 or less, even if we tried to get cheeky towards late January. But yeah, in terms of that, I feel like with Endo, with Stefan, I think Liverpool will be looking to other areas, maybe in the fullbacks positions, centre backs as well. That's where I think, and also, we don't even have a director yet, so it's hard to take these links too seriously. We need to see what's going to happen with the manager, what formation he prefers to play with as well, and then the contract situations with Virgil, with Trent as well. So there's a few things to still to be done.
Yeah, I agree. And if, let's say, we do go for someone like Xabi Alonso and the way that Xabi plays, there may be probably plays that we didn't expect to see out the door. Luis Diaz maybe one, but that could be to allow for someone like Florian Wirtz to come in, or the other player that's been linked today in Jamal Musiala. Again, really, really young, exciting talent from Bayern Munich. He's had, an okay season. He scored some crucial goals for Bayern Munich this season. I'll stick with you there, Clem. Any thoughts on Musiala? Is this, again, maybe one of those where we just don't see it happening? Not for the price. He's 21, but I can see him going for, close to 80, 90 million.
More than that.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of Musiala. I feel like he could fit anywhere, of course, as well. But I'm sort of thinking about Trent once again and what the future holds for him. But in terms of Musiala, I think his camp specifically with Bayern not succeeding this season, his age, you mentioned 21. Yeah, what's next for him? He'll be thinking about a big club or a next big club, and obviously Liverpool are succeeding. He'll be looking at City, Arsenal. I feel like it's more on his camp side pushing this rather than Liverpool being interested. Having said that, I don't know if Liverpool would entertain that if he became available. I think you have to look at a player of his talent and his age. I think it fits the profile, but is there enough room in terms of salary? All of those things is really questionable for me.
There's probably a cheaper alternative in Wirtz, right? Paul, I'll come to you about this one. In Florian Wirtz, there's probably a cheaper alternative there that Xabi, if we're sticking with Xabi, he knows inside out, knows the player. Is there going to be better alternatives or cheaper alternatives that could produce kind of similar results out there?
Well, there are some. You can't have too many top young players in your team. I give you that, right? But at the same time, everything comes at a cost, and you have to weigh the cost, versus available funds versus what you need. Wirtz and Musiala, just like the two Spanish guys, Pedri and Gavi, these four players are four top young players, but none of them will come for under 100 million, I don't think, right? So, based on that price tag, I don't see us going for for any of these guys, even if they become available. We have a guy at the club that could, because I think these guys play like mostly number 10. Wirtz, Musiala. Don't forget Fabio Carvalho. Is he at their talent level? Probably not. But he's a player that we already have that we need to see what we have, give him some opportunities, because he has some talent and we already have him. We paid next to nothing for him. So there's no point in us, thinking about 100 million for these players again with our midfield the way it is. So I don't, I just look at these as just rumor that won't happen. But Clem make an interesting point here, and we need to think about Trent, because I was always of the opinion that Trent's best position is at right back to invert in midfield. But as things change, then you have to change your opinion. We didn't see Conor Bradley. Now that we have Conor Bradley, because you remember, there were talk about us getting a top right back so that Trent can move in midfield. Now we don't need to do that anymore, but we already have a top right back who is demanding a spot in the team by his play. So, there is no way we can have a Liverpool 11 with a fit Trent that can't find a spot for. That doesn't make sense. I'm not convinced that Trent can play as a lone 6. I just don't see him as a number 6. Yes, if we play a double pivot, then he could be beside somebody else in that deep line position. But then again, we don't play with a double pivot because, our style is 4-3-3. So we need to see, we need to do some experiment and to see what's the best position for Trent. He could very well be our Nicolo Barella, being that box-to-box player, because there's nobody in the team that can pick a pass like Trent, and Trent does have a shot on him. Trent and Szoboszlai can shoot the ball, if they get space. So it's going to be an interesting year or two. It will be really interesting to see what formation, our new manager will employ, how he will utilize the amount of talent that we have in the team, and where we need to bring in players at what position. We probably need cover for left back because Robbo is still a year or two of top in him, but he is like, what is he now, turning 30?
Mhm.
We need another centre back because I think Joel Matip is on his way out. Midfield, I think, is fine. Thiago is gone, but we have Stefan, who I think got a year off just to grow in his body and to get some strength. Honestly, I think Stefan is no longer injured, but the team decided to give him a year off, and we don't really need him right now. So if we think that he's the future at the 6, there's nothing wrong with that. So and we need a right winger, but to spend $100 million now, 100 million plus for a Wirtz or Musiala, I don't think that makes much sense at all. Even though they are super talented.
Yeah. Tom, well, two-pronged question. Would you spend money on Musiala? And then number 2 is, like what Paul's kind of given, what areas do you think we need to kind of focus on in the summer?
I wouldn't put Musiala as a priority. Obviously, Alonso, if he does come in, he's going to have his own stamp. But when you look at the current system, we don't really play with that kind of technical sort of number 10. So for me, I wouldn't really be going there. I don't think he's obviously a great talent, but I don't think he's set the world alight this season. So I definitely wouldn't make that a priority. In terms of what I would make a priority, I think we're quite well set. To be honest, I think the new manager's coming into quite a rare position where obviously a manager's leaving, but the squad definitely doesn't need any like surgery. Maybe just 1 or 2 here and there. So I think I honestly think the squad's in a very, very healthy position. When you look across the defence, we've got 2 very good fullbacks in each for right back and left back. We've got 4 very good centre backs. That's if Matip stays on. Maybe if he goes, we need another centre back. Obviously, we've got a lot of midfielders. We've got a standard great number 6 now as well. We've got 5 quality forwards. So I think the squad's in a very healthy place. Like I said, maybe just a centre back if Matip goes, but apart from that, just 1 or 2 luxury signings. I think is all we need really.
Yeah, and I think barring injuries. Sorry, go on, Paul.
I would love to hear what Tom has to say about Trent. Where would you play Trent? What would you do with Trent? Because he has to play.
I don't know. It's $1 million question, that one, isn't it?
I've got an idea. Does anyone want to hear what my idea is?
Go on.
Go on. Okay, so 4-2-3-1 is the formation I would play. I would go with Conor Bradley as right back. I would allow, and this means, but it is a squad game, but I would like to see Trent go in as the number 6 with Maka next to him. And then you have Szoboszlai ahead in the kind of like number 10. Whether we keep Salah, if Salah stays, he's obviously going to have the right-hand position. If he goes, then Szoboszlai goes into that position, and then that frees up for number 10 to play behind Nunez on the up front. The left-hand position, who knows what, whether it's Luis Diaz or Cody Gakpo, we'd look at other players. But I think that actually we could do some serious damage with that team if things worked out. But Clem, I'm going to come to you because we're coming up to the hour. What do you think about that team there, mate?
I think it sounds good. Obviously, there's going to be some tinkering with the new manager as well. In terms of, back to the signings, just real quick, I don't see us going for a big signing unless there's some sales, and I'm not ruling that out. You mentioned players needing to fit in. We can't forget about this man's name, Curtis Jones. A lot of people feel like he's a nailed-on starter, and on our squad, he's kind of on the fringe with some other guys. So there's some interest from other clubs. I think there will be people poking around for a Curtis Jones. Paul mentioned Carvalho as well. If we do sell a couple of these guys to fund, a superstar, I could see that, but that's the only way I could see that. In terms of the formation, I love the 4-4-2. But what you said, I also could see that as well. Obviously, with Trent, you do need to factor into where do his strengths lie. And I know he's not the strongest defender. He has great qualities at the right back, but I feel like in midfield, and getting box to box, he's going to be super dangerous. How he scored against City, that goal is the dream that I see Trent, doing that on a weekly basis, just sort of running in, getting one of those long range shots on target as well, drifting into the box and just scoring, 15 goals a season.
Yeah, no, let's see. It's going to be interesting. We've got this season to kind of play with. There's so much more football to play. It's barring injuries, I will say I think we have the best squad in the Premier League. The only problem is the injury situation that causes us a problem.
No. Man City, man. Have you seen
No.
that bench?
The squad. No, it's. If we have a look at Man City's first 15, yeah, fair enough. They may have some real good quality players, but after that they drop off so much. When it comes to our squad, I think we've got every position covered. Just like what Tom said, 4 quality centre backs. We've got quality full backs with quality backups. We've got abundance of midfielders, attacking quality. If Jota stays fit, how good is he? Jota goes to any club in the Premier League. He plays. He's brilliant. But that's what I mean by the best squad. I think it's just the numbers games. But any last thoughts, gents, before we close up for tonight?
Just I'd love to get quickly all your guys' thoughts on Cody Gakpo, where you see his best position and how do you see his long-term sort of Liverpool impact?
Go for it, Paul.
Initially we thought that Cody's best position would be that Bobby Firmino false 9. But and even when Klopp tried to play him, as a attacking 8, but it's not working. Cody is a winger, right? Cody's a left winger. Unfortunately for him, at the moment, he's probably the third choice and not left winger if everybody's healthy. So we need players like Cody in our team, because to win trophies, you have to have more than 11 players. So you need a Cody who is not in your starting 11 if everybody is fit, but an important guy on the bench, to come on when we need to change up stuff or when one of the forwards needs a break or somebody's injured. So I wouldn't sell him. Just that I think by playing him out of position, you're affecting his performance. You wonder if that is affecting his confidence as well. So I would say to Cody, you know what? You are a left winger. There are other players. I would even prefer to see Szoboszlai play in that false 9 position and Cody Gakpo right now. Even though he's not a forward. But I think Cody is a left winger, and if we can't play him on the left side, then he probably needs to be on the bench.
Tom?
Yeah, I kind of agree. It's a strange one because obviously back end of last season he looked absolutely brilliant. Like in that
Really
false
good.
9 role, we thought, we had our Bobby replacement, just like that, just easy. But obviously this season it's been a bit different. He's still got a decent output. I think he's still got double figures for goals when he's been in and out of the team. So you can't fault him really too much. But he's just not really having an impact on games at the moment, is he? He's just kind of struggling to kind of think what kind of player is he right now? Kind of similar to like Havertz in a way. They're both good players, but like, what are they? Like, what? I don't know. I'm just kind of struggling to figure out what he's kind of offering us at the moment. We know the quality's there, but yeah, I think like Paul said, I think it's maybe time to start playing him out of the wing a bit more. That's because that's why we bought him. That's that's where he played his best football for PSV. So I think need to definitely change something, because at the moment in that false 9 it's just not quite working.
Yeah, I think personally he's not had the best of time because he's inside his own head, and that's a possibly consequence of being just played out of position on numerous occasions, or not finding his feet because he's not been given a run of games in one particular position. And that's what he had last season. So Nunez was dropped a lot in the back end of last season, and Cody was playing, had more intelligence in that respect. But Nunez is Nunez. He's just come on leaps and bounds throughout the whole season. But Clem, we're going to finish off with yourself. What do you think? As you were the man that asked the question, what's your answer?
Yeah, I certainly want to reserve my sort of full evaluation till the end of the season. But I agree with Paul, Tom, yourself. I think Cody looks great off the wing, drifting into space. Yeah, when it's congested, it's clogged up. He just doesn't seem to be able to create. And I think the emergence of Dan's, coming in as well is another a guy who I would prefer in that position as well. So yeah, with Cody, I mentioned the sales. I would love to keep Cody, but it's all up to the new manager as well. And how can he get a run of games in a specific position? Obviously, to our benefit, we're going to be in the Champions League, and I feel like next season we're going to rely on the squad depth, even more as well. So yeah, I'm rooting for the guy. I hope he could find a great run of form. But he's pretty solid finishing. Like to Tom's point, he's not clinical, but he does need to get a little bit more aggressive with getting shots on target, and power. That's not really his big game, but in the air he's solid. Around the 6-yard box, yeah, he's pretty clinical. So I think it's just a luxury that all good squads have. You could probably point to City, some other teams as well that have guys that deserve a little bit more of a shot.
Yeah, that's it. Totally agree. We're gonna end up on that then. Just want to say thank you for Clem, to Paul, to Tom, to joining me tonight. Everyone in the comments. I did want to cover off some more comments, but it's been jam packed today. Just talking about all kinds of things. On that, I just want to say thank you. There's another stream tomorrow. What's 2 streams tomorrow? Normal 7:30, and then the late night stateside show that we have at 2:30 a.m. UK time, that is. But please hit those likes, hit those subscribes. Join us tomorrow. Join us every day. We're here. We're going to do post-match this week after the Man City game. We're going to be building up to that game as well. So lots and lots and lots of kind of great footage and material coming your way. So on that note, I just want to say thank you. Up the Reds. Thank you all. Speak to you soon.